Hello once again my friends and welcome to yet another PhilbertGreen painting video. I'm back from the dead like a zombie in Raccoon City. As always, this isn't really a professional tutorial, but I hope it does help if you are following along at home. Today we're looking at what happens if your dog has fleas and the fleas get infected by the T-virus. Yes, it's the big nasty sewer mutants themselves, the Drain Deimos. This time around, we've been given two Deimos models to play with each of them being in a completely different pose. I'll be painting both these nasties at the same time, so just like my other videos, if you are following along at home, just take your time and go at a pace that you are comfortable with. As ever, we'll be starting off by basing them with Mechanicus Standard Grey. With the hideous monstrosities now base coated, it's time to start the painting. As always, I watered down my paints and applied at least 2 thin coats. For the majority of the body of our mutated fiends, I used Baneblade Brown, leaving the exposed muscle and any split skin or wounds to be painted next. With their bodies now looking a nasty colour, I next painted their exposed muscle on their chest, their abdomen, the bits in between their legs, and as I mentioned in the last step, any exposed wounds. For this, I used Khorne Red. Now all the gory bits are done, I next use Rakarth Flesh to paint their claws, their mandibles, and some of the bony bits sticking out on their bodies. After that, I used Abaddon Black next to paint the spiky protrusions sticking out of their carapace on their backs. With that now done, the last little bit of painting to do on these guys was their bulging insectoid eyes. I used Averland Sunset to give them a nice jaundiced yellow colour. With all the painting done on both our mutated monstrosities, it's time for the fun part. The same as our regular zombies, I washed the entirety of both the models. This time, however, using Nuln Oil Gloss. The reason behind this is that while it functions exactly the same as regular old Nuln Oil, getting into the recesses and bringing out all the little details, it dries with a shiny look to it. I wanted this effect in particular to make the Drain Deimos look wet and horrible, like they just crawled out of an open manhole. Right, you know what's coming up next. Yup, a basing of Astrogranite Technical, washed with Nuln Oil, and a light dry brush of Celestra Grey to finish off our wee foul beasties. Not forgetting the red band around the base either, to add them to our ever-expanding pool of adversaries. And there you have it. 2 monstrously mutated fleas ready to scurry about the sewers, back alleys and ambush any survivors of the haunted Raccoon City. These guys were great fun to paint after I'd finally settled on which round to use, and not actually as tricky or time consuming as they look. They're not just unique looking enemy models, but they're also unique enemies to fight in the board game itself. They took a lot less time to paint than I thought they would as well. Thank you for being so patient with this massive gap in my uploads, and once again, thank you all for watching, I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Stay safe, survivors!